guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we're checking out the LED RGB color changing halo headlights and fog lights with the black housing and clear lens fitting on 2007 through 2018 JK Wranglers. Now if your headlights and fog lights are both in need of a change and you want a new lighting combo that won't just improve your visibility at night, but will also make it fun with some custom styling, this is going to be a great set to choose. This kit will be sure to make your JK stand apart from the other builds at the show or in day-to-day life with all of the different functions, while also not being over the top on price if you want uniqueness at an affordable price point. This kit will feature that traditional aftermarket look to them with the black housing and multiple projector lenses on the inside. Now that's really going to modernize the front end appearance, and these will drastically increase and upgrade the lighting performance compared to the factory setup. Now, the projector lenses themselves, in addition to the LEDs, will throw a lot more light than the halogen or incandescent bulb, and it will condense the beam pattern to make sure that your path is much easier to see at night. Now the stars of the show here are the RGB halos that will be customizable on the fly with the Bluetooth controller here that everything is going to tie into and that you can access with your smartphone. Now those customizations don't just account for the multiple colors included, 6 million colors to be exact, but also the different functions with 155 dynamic modes with the ability to change things like brightness, modify the patterns, and even sync to your music. Both sets of lights here will have a tough die-cast aluminum housing on the back for good heat dispersion to allow the LEDs to perform efficiently. Now, the polycarbonate lens on the front of all four of these will also be impact and UV resistant, which will protect the LEDs from debris or smaller hits no matter where you're taking your JK. Now, they will also have an impressive IP68 dust, water, and shock-proof rating, making them very durable compared to the average headlight, especially the factory one. Now, one of the best parts about these is that they are mostly plug and play, which will make the install pretty easy. There is a little bit of wiring, but we'll show you that in just a minute. And you can also rest assured knowing that these are DOT and SAE approved. You can expect to pay right around the $350 mark for this set. One of the biggest benefits here compared to others in the category is that you're getting a 2-in-1 deal. Now, not many options come in a kit like this, let alone with the customization aspect of the lights, making them really stand apart from the rest if that's what you're looking for your JK. Install will be very straightforward, but it is going to require a little bit of wiring, so I'm going to give it a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about 2 hours to get the job done with some basic hand tools. Now what we can do now is head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get these onto your JK at home, so that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
The tools you'll need for this project are a 3/8 or 1/2-inch drive ratchet, a short extension, an 18mm socket, a 1/4-inch drive ratchet with a 10mm socket, a T15 Torx driver, a pair of needle nose pliers, a pair of regular pliers, a pair of side cutters, a pair of wire strippers and crimpers, a trim panel removal tool or a flathead screwdriver, and you'll also need to source some electrical wire, some electrical connectors, and some zip ties. Additionally, we recommend picking up a fuse tap to ensure a safe connection with the wiring harness. Hi everyone. Today we're installing a set of headlights on our Wrangler, but first let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock headlights.
So this is a relatively easy install since there's only a few screws that hold these headlights in. However, we do need to remove our stock grille, so we're going to pop our hood open so we can access the plastic retainers that hold that in. So you're gonna have 6 of these plastic retainers across the top of your grille. They're really easy to remove. We're gonna use a flathead screwdriver to pop up the center and pull the whole thing out. So the top of the grill is free, however, the bottom of the grill is held in with a few metal clips. The way we're gonna remove that, we're just gonna tug out on that and that whole thing will disconnect. After we do that, we're gonna pull this grill away and we'll disconnect our lights. So we're gonna turn these till they unlock. Let those hang there. Do the same thing for the other side. Just turn these till they unlock and we'll pull this grill away. So the next step, we're gonna remove the 4 small screws that hold this chrome ring in here, which is holding our light in. We're gonna use a T15 Torx to remove those. One thing you want to make sure you do is keep a hand on it while you're removing these screws, because it will just fall out on you. So to unplug these, we're going to press back on this red locking tab. Once that's all the way up, we can press down on our release and unplug our light.
All right, now that we've got our headlights out, and this kit does come with a set of fog lights, we need to remove our fog lights. Now, if you've never done this before on a Jeep, it'll probably be easier if you just remove the front bumper. You can do this with a screwdriver reaching behind the bumper, but if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, it can be a little difficult because it is hard to see back behind the bumper. So we're just going to go ahead and remove the bumper. We'll show you how to take the fog lights out of the bumper at that point. So what you're going to need at this point is a ratchet, a short extension, and an 18mm socket. Now there are 2 brackets that hold the bumper itself to the frame rail, one on each side of the vehicle. So you've got 2 bolts here on the outside, and then you've got 2 more on the inside of the bracket. So we're going to use our 18mm socket with our short extension and remove these 4 bolts on this side. Now we'll remove the 2 on the inside and then repeat that process for the other side. Now with our 4 nuts removed on each side, we go ahead and disconnect our fog lights simply by reaching back, pressing down on the release lever, and disconnecting the harness. We'll do that on both lights, and we'll do the same thing on the other light. Get that disconnected. Now we can go ahead and lift our bumper off the vehicle. Now, from looking at the back side of the bumper, you'll notice that each of the fog lights has 4 screws holding it in place, 1 in each corner. So we'll go ahead and remove those 4 screws using a Phillips head screwdriver and get those out. So here's our 4 screws, 1 here, here, and here. So we'll go ahead and get those out. And once you got your 4 screws out, just slide the light straight back. Now you can do the same thing for the other light. All right, now we can go ahead and install our new fog lights. Now you want to pay attention when you're actually putting this in. There are 2 nubs on the back of the bumper that match up with these 2 larger holes on the fog light. Those are just going to be for alignment purposes, and then you can put the screws in the other 4 holes. Now the other thing you want to note is that the adjustment screw in the back of the light needs to be facing this hole at the bottom of the bumper. That way you can get a screwdriver in there and adjust the angle of your light. So we'll go ahead and set this in place, and then we can go ahead and put our screws back in. And now you can repeat that process for the other light. Now you also notice on the back of these lights that there are 2 pigtail harnesses, and there's an additional one that clips into this black one. The reason for that is you are going to need to connect these up to a set of wires in order to get them to halos to function properly. Now this also comes with this twist-on connector that's actually going to be connected to the controller to actually control the halo itself in the process. So you are going to have to put on some sort of electrical connector on the end. Now we've already added a couple of spade bits on here to get ready for the actual hookup when we get this installed. So let's go ahead and put our bumper back on and finish the rest of the install. Now we'll go ahead and put our bumper back into place, lining up our studs on the back side of the bumper. And go ahead and use our original nuts and get this put back in place. And now we'll tighten those nuts up using our 18mm socket. And now you can repeat that process for the rest of the bolts. All right, now, remember when we put the fog lights into the bumper where I told you about these pigtails that were attached to the lights themselves. And we've already put our spade bits on the end of it so that we can connect it to the factory harness. Now this is what the factory harness looks like. As you can see, we've already modified ours with a couple of spade bits on there. We've done this a few times. So I've only got this out just to give you a better view of what we're going to be doing when we connect these lights up. Now when we get back to the Jeep itself, I'll show you exactly where these are located, so give you point of reference. Now to install these spade bits, what you're going to want to do is take your wire on the end of the pigtail here, strip off about 1/4 inch using a pair of wire strippers. Twist the ends together to make sure that they don't fray when we put our bit on. And then slide the end of the wire into the end of the spade bit, and using your wire crimpers, go ahead and securely crimp that down on the end of the wire. Give it a little tug, make sure it's secure. And you want to do that to the red and the black wire on the pigtail. Now, once you've got that done, you need a way to hook that up to your factory harness. Now, like I said, our factory harness already has spade bits on there because ours has been modified a little bit differently. But what you can do, and there are several different ways you can do this, but one of the easiest ways is to use what they call a T-tap. So to use this T-tap, what you're going to do is wrap it around the wire of the harness, which is going to be this piece right here, if you've never done this before. So we'll go ahead and wrap the plastic piece around the harness wire, close it up, and then use a pair of pliers to lock this into place. Now, once it's locked, what will happen is the spade bit from your pigtail here is going to slide into the end of the T-tap and make your connection. You'll need to use 2 T-taps per pigtail and 2 spade bits per pigtail. So now that we've got our pigtails configured, let's go ahead and get them connected to our factory harness. So here's our factory harness that goes to one of our fog lights. Now, like I said, ours has been modified before. Ours is going to be a little different than what I just showed you, but your version will work as well. So what you're going to do is put the T-tap on this white wire here and on the black wire. And then when your pigtail, you're going to take your red wire and connect it to the white wire on the harness, and the black wire will go to black. That'll be your power and ground. So like I said, since ours is modified a little bit differently, what we're going to do is just remove this factory connector like so, and we'll plug our pigtail into the factory harness. So we've got our black wire connected to the black wire, our red wire connected to the white wire, and now we can go ahead and plug this into the back of the light. So we'll just plug that in till it snaps into place. And now we can do the same thing for the other light. Now it's time to go ahead and install our control box and the associated wiring harness that goes with it. Now we will be connecting this harness to our fog lights and our headlights. So let's go ahead and get this started. Now you can go ahead and mount this whatever works for you. You've got plenty of wire here. For our purposes today, just for demonstration, we're just going to set it inside here next to the radiator, and we're going to run our harness up back behind the radiator support here, around the air box, and we're going to connect it to our fuse box and our negative terminal on the battery. Now you will notice on the end of this harness we have a black wire, a red wire, a blue, and a white wire. The red wire is going to be your connection to power supply. Black wire is going to be ground, and the blue and the white wires correspond to the two plugs, the two black plugs on the other end of the harness. One is marked a blue line, one is marked for a white line. Whichever side you choose, it doesn't matter which one, but whichever side you choose to run the blue wire to, you need to run this blue wire to the turn signal on that side. Same thing for the white. If you're going to run the white wire to the passenger side, then you need to run this white wire to the turn signal on the passenger side. Otherwise, you're going to have problems when you turn your turn signals on. So let's go ahead and get our harness run. So like I said, we're going to run it up behind the radiator support here. And then we're going to run it in front of our air filter box. Tuck it down in there just to make sure that it stays out of the way. All right, now we can go ahead and open up our fuse box so we can make the power connection and go ahead and connect our ground wire. All right, so when this harness comes in, the red and the black wires do not have any kind of a connector on them. Now we've gone ahead and added a ring connector to the black wire so that we can connect it directly to our negative terminal on the battery. And I've also installed a fuse tap on the end of the red wire. The reason for this is I prefer to have it connected directly to the fuse box with a little bit of added safety in case something goes wrong later on with a short in there. It'll blow the fuse and not burn the wiring. So these connect the same way that we connected our spade bits earlier for the fog lights. So we'll go ahead and open up our fuse box, and I'll remove the lid here. All right, so we're going to connect our fuse tap to this 10 amp fuse right here, and if you look at your listing on your fuse cover, it's going to be M11. So we're going to go ahead and use a pair of pliers, pull that 10 amp fuse out, insert it into our fuse tap along with another 10 amp fuse for our lights, and then we can go ahead and just replace that fuse with the fuse tap. Now that that's into place, we can go ahead and hook up our ground wire to our negative terminal. To do that, we're going to use a 10mm socket, remove this nut, put our ring terminal on it and replace the nut. We'll connect our black wire to the negative side and go ahead and tighten that back up. All right, now with our red and our black wires hooked up, we'll go ahead and replace our fuse cover. Close our lid, and now we'll finish connecting our white and blue wires here and the rest of our harness. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna run the 2 wires for our turn signals. We've got our blue wire up here on the harness from the kit with the blue and the white. And the kit also provides you an extension with the white and a blue wire. Now, depending on where you locate your wiring harness, you may need to create another extension for whichever side, whichever color wire you're running to the driver's side. So let's go ahead and get these run, and we're gonna run these the same way. We're gonna put them up through the back of the radiator support there, run them back up to the harness, connect them here. Now we've opted to run the white side to the passenger side and the blue to the driver's side. So let's go ahead and get these run. So we'll go ahead and pull these down through. And like I said, our blue wire is going to go over to the driver's side, so it's going to be a little longer. Now we can go ahead and plug them in respectively to their correct side over here. So we'll connect our blue extension to the blue wire, our white extension to the white wire. Now we'll connect our white wire to the white extension. And then just like the rest of the harness, we'll tuck it down here in front of the air box. All right, now we're just about ready to install our light. Before we do that, we need to connect this adapter harness to the back of the light because it obviously does not match what our factory does. So we'll just connect the blue end of the adapter harness to the back of the light, simply pushing it in until it seats properly. Now we can go ahead and connect the other end to our factory harness. At the same time, you're going to want to have your whichever side you choose, either the white line or the blue line label wire, run through the back of your headlight housing. Now we can go ahead and plug this into our factory harness till it snaps into place, push down on our red locking tab, and then we can connect either our white or our blue line connector to the other connector on the back of the light. Now these are position specific. So there's a little guide pin inside the connector on the headlight, and it matches up with a slot on the harness. So once you've got those lined up, it slides in. Go ahead and screw them together. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now we can tuck this back inside and go ahead and install our headlight. We've got our headlight in place. Slide our retaining ring over it. And then using the original hardware, we'll go ahead and secure that retaining ring to the headlight housing. All right, now we can take one of our red harness connectors and connect it to one of our fog lights. At this point, it really doesn't matter which side. Fog lights are fog lights, and they are not side specific. However, they do have the alignment tabs on the connectors, so you have to make sure that they are lined up properly. Insert them, and then go ahead and screw them together to make sure that they stay that way. All right, now we're going to go ahead and connect either our white wire or blue wire, depending on how you decided to run it, to our factory turn signal harness. Now, as you can see, our harness has been modified several times. So what you'll have to determine is which of these wires in your turn signal harness in the connector, which one is the actual turn signal wire. Now, we've already done that homework for you and determined that the wire that is closest to the red locking tab here is going to be your turn signal wire. The middle wire is going to be your parking light wire, and the black wire on the other end is going to be your ground wire. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect, in our case, the white wire to this wire that's closest to the red locking tab. And since we've already modified ours before, we're just going to go ahead and connect the spade connector to that. Now, you can use a spade connector and a T-tap or whatever method you prefer to actually get this tapped into. Now, once you've got this side done, you can go ahead and repeat this whole process for the other side. All right, now that we've got all of our lights installed and connected, you're going to notice that you've got some extra wire laying around. So we're just going to zip tie those up to the cross member for the bottom of the grill. Just making sure that they're out of the way from any kind of interference. None of the slots for the bottom of the grill are covered. And then once we've got them secured, we'll just go ahead and cut off the excess. And now we're ready to actually install our grill. All right, now we can go ahead and put our grill back into place. First thing we're going to do, of course, hook up our turn signals, insert them back into the housing at the bottom, twist them until they lock. We'll put our bulb in, twist it till it locks. Now we'll slide the tabs at the bottom of the grill back into the slots, into the core support. Make sure they all snap into place. And now we can go ahead and reinstall the original push pins to secure the top. Now, our lights are completely controlled by the app that you can download either from the Google Play Store or from the Apple Store. Now, once you've got it downloaded and open and you've got your controller connected to power on the vehicle, then it will go ahead and automatically connect. If you press the 3 bars at the top left, you'll see that it's got a connection made here. Now, you can go in and edit that and change the name if you like. We're just going to leave it for default right now. Now, once we go back, first screen you're going to see is the color wheel screen, and you can just go ahead and select by sliding your finger around to change the color of the lights. Once you do that, if you want to, you can select the pre-selected light colors at the bottom, including white. Now, you also have the option of changing the brightness of the lights by sliding the bar down or up. And you can also change the strobe speed as well by sliding it across. So right now we've got it set to completely static. Now, in addition to the wheel, you have your different modes that you can select. And you've got all of these options here that you can choose from. And not only can you choose the option, but you can change the display as to how you want that to show up. If you click on each one, this is like a fade and it changes colors. You got the flashing mode. You got the chasing mode. And you can also change the directions as well. As you can see, you've got to go into both directions here. And you can even change that direction. You can also change the color length. Once you've got that set, just say OK, and you can scroll through and pick another option if you like. Here we've got our red, green, and blue option. Got a fade option. You even have an option to connect to music. So the music option will set it to a certain song that you choose on your phone, and it will flash accordingly. And then you can go back to setting it the way that you want to. Now, one thing you do want to notice though, these lights are not automatic. They will only operate through the app. So you have to remember to turn the app off in order to get the lights to turn off. And that wraps up our review and install of the LED RGB color changing halo headlights with fog lights with the black housing and clear lens for your 07 to 18 Jeep Wrangler JK. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.